Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I'll be playing a game of Wingspan, and I'll be playing against the new hard AI, which they recently released. It's still in beta. I've played against the hard AI previously, earlier today, and I had fun with it. I think it's definitely a step up from the medium AI, but it's not as hard as the Autonoma AI, which is really nice as well, because the Autonoma AI is just absolutely bonkers, particularly the hard mode. So without further ado, let's just play a game. Now, Wingspan is a board game. Notice I almost said bird game, but yes, it is a bird game. And it's all about collecting birds and at the end of the day getting as many victory points as possible within the rounds of play. I'll try to explain things a little bit as I go, but for the most part, this is kind of just going to be a video that yeah, it's going to be a video. What am I talking about? I'm not very good at talking. I'm still very bad at talking into the microphone and making sure that everyone's engaged, but I'm working on it. Now we're just waiting for the AI to make their beginning decisions. Normally it takes a while, so we get to relax for a little bit. And I am playing against two of them, so it's a little bit more fun when there's more players, but it can get too hectic when there's too many. I feel like 3 is just the right amount. Alright, so without further ado, let me explain the round system. The first round, you have 8 turns. The second round, you have 7 turns. The third round, you have 6. And then the final round, or round 4, you have 5. And with each round, there's a bonus objective. For example, this requires a specific bird with a specific nest, with a specific egg. And whoever has as many of them as possible wins that round and gets some bonus points. And those bonus points really go towards your final objective or your final score, and whoever has the highest final score wins. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right. Now, before we look at the birds, I also kind of like to look at the bonus objectives that you get first. And let's see. There's a wetland scientist, where we have birds that only live in the wetlands. And then we have wildlife gardener, or birds with the cup nest. And we'll just take a gander over here and see what kind of birds we have. There's only one bird with the cup nest, which is the loggerhead shrike. I actually really like that bird because it gains extra points overall, but it gains extra points depending on how many people use the gain food action. But there were games where I got only a couple points putting that bird down, so extra points. So with that being said, let's take a gander at this as well. So we need birds with this particular nest type, and there's 2 right here. They're pretty easy to fulfill, so I may just pick these 2 right here. And let's see. I feel like this would be pretty good right here. I can see a pathway to... I might as well take that as well. It's a pretty cheap bird, and if I find something that can... Or I could do this. I think I have a good idea of what I'm going to do here. Basically, and I'll explain it as I go along. Alright, I'm going to be playing this first because there are two worms in there, or insects. And when I play this card, I'll gain all the worms or insects from the bird feeder. The bird feeder is over here, and that's where you get your source of food for the birds to play. Since this bird requires berries, worms and wheat. I'm gonna play it, and I have the sufficient amount of insects, so I'll be using insects for that.
Northern flicker. These woodpeckers
And I'll take all the insects. I'm going to take a look at the birds on here, just in case if I want to snag one. Now, in order to grab a card from down here, or from the deck, you would have to use one of your turns in the wetlands to do so. And as you gain more, as you put down more birds, your ability to grab more cards, or, for instance, grab more food from here, or lay eggs from here, which we'll need later. I'll explain that in a sec, I guess. Your ability to do those things increases. For instance, as you have 1, you gain 1 card. As you have 2, you gain 1 card, but you also get the ability to destroy one of your eggs that you currently have in order to draw another card. And once you get 3, for instance, you gain 2. You get to grab 2 cards unconditionally. And, yeah. Alright, so with that being said, I am going to place this card down. I believe it's going to be a good call to make just to do it right now. Right? Unless there's another card that I really like. No. I think I'm just going to go ahead and play this card right here.
Swallows can form flocks numbering in the hundreds of thousands.
I think grabbing the ruddy duck here would be pretty good as well. But that comes with some issues as well. The ruddy duck only is worth 0 points in general. Although I really like its effect, in which you get to draw 2 cards and discard 1 at the end of the turn. That's rough. What's also rough is I really can't do anything about... I really don't want to draw any of the food cards right here, simply because I do need a rat or rodent in order to place this one on the field, and there's no rats in the bird feeder. So, well, actually, wait a minute. I think what I could do... No, I can't. If you have if you have only one specific type of food in the bird feeder, you can re-roll it, and there's a chance of getting the food source that you need. But unfortunately, that's not the case here. So I may just have to draw a card, and I'm thinking of the duck actually. I know I was just like trashing the duck, but I don't know if I want to tuck any of these cards at the moment, but yeah, I'm not sure if I want to tuck any cards at the moment. So we'll just stick with what we have for right now. The one thing to note is that these bonus cards right here, it's not always the best to focus on them. It's just something that, well, if you have the chance to get it, you should probably try to go for it. So there's still no rat. So what I kind of want to do here is just lay some eggs. I do need an egg right here because that's the nest that's the nest type that we'll need to fulfill this. And the one thing that I've noticed is that the AI just doesn't really go for it the same way that the Autonoma does. So we should have the lead here potentially when it comes to the bonus objective. Although I've lost games where I've had the best at all of the bonus objectives. So you do have to keep in mind that overall score is what matters the most. Hmm. 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 I could try to go for a rat or something. Yeah, let's actually... Alright, as I said before, because we have the duplicate food sources right here, which is the wheat and the worm right there, in which case you could choose either one if you decide to pick one. I'm going to try to re-roll here and get a rat so that I can play my loggerhead shriek. And there's a rat right there. So I'll just go ahead and play this next. And I think it's best that you play this card early, as it means you have a better chance of getting more tucked cards or more food cards placed down, and the extra points really help. So.
Loggerhead shrike. Shrikes impale their prey on thorns or barbed wire and may save them for later.
I think I'm going to grab a food right here. Ooh. There's no particular food source that would that would let me get the duck down, so that kind of sucks. Hold on. Let me take a look at what's down here and what food sources would be good. I think I might as well just pick a berry out. Alright. I'm just going to see what my opponent has. Yeah, I'm just going to take a quick look at everybody else's boards to see what's going on. This is a great way of learning to see what they're doing. As you can see, there's a bird right there that just has the star nest, which counts for all of them. So he's got 1 point for that at the very least. He has no birds down there. And he's got a really strong card, or really high value card right there, and then a pretty decent one right there, and it has a really good active when activated special effect right there as well, in which case you can just trade one food source for another. It's pretty good. Let's take a look at this, guys. No birds down there, no birds there, and then he has 3 over here. That's pretty interesting. I know in most cases, or a lot of people just tend to focus on one particular field. And this person right here is focused. This AI in particular is focused on the forest, which is the food collection based one. And as you can see, he's already ramping up his juniper titmouse right there. It's already got 2 food tokens on it, stashed on it, so it's pretty cool. All right, let's try to figure out what we're trying to do. That's probably the most important aspect here. Let's see. I think this would be pretty good. I know that I have a lot of nests with that. However, it doesn't really... I suppose it really doesn't matter as much. So I'm probably going to go with the downy woodpecker, and hopefully I'll get another bird that I could potentially play in the forest field as well. I think I'm I don't know if I want to do away with my duck, so yeah. Alright, we did win this first. We did win the first round in terms of bonus points, but I think as we'll see later on, that doesn't really matter too much, so. I do want the Chihuahuan Raven down here. Oof. I think we have to sort of look ahead as well and get some birds in the... We do have to get birds in the forest biome for the next bit, so I'm going to try to look ahead and get whatever birds I can that go up there. And I'll just skip that for now. Oof. I think I might as well just play the duck. Oh no, I don't even have the food for that. That bites. I think I'll just grab a fish here, and maybe if nobody takes the snowy egret, actually I'll just grab the snowy egret right now. I don't know if I actually want to do that, which sucks because it does add to my point score based on how many cards I have tucked beneath the tree swallow. But I am just sort of caving into the pressure here and just going like, I don't know. I don't know if that's such a good idea because I do have a plan for these cards. I just have terrible food production right now, so that's sort of bugging me out. I will grab the fish here, though. And I'm just hoping that they do pick up some of these food dice so I can either re-roll or just... And that's not going so well for me. I don't want to... That bites. Alright, I will...
Snowy egret in the 1880s.
I forgot to mention, when you put more birds down besides the first bird in a particular field, it's going to start to cost eggs, which is why eggs are so important. Speaking of eggs, I will probably need eggs soon, so... I'm just going to go ahead and lay an egg on the snowy egret so that I would at least have 1 point into the bonus objective. It's always better to have 1 or 2 points in there, even if you don't intend on winning the round, particularly for the bonus objective, so that you would at least be in the running and get some points from it. I wouldn't know where else to put the egg, so that's fine with me. The Lincoln Sparrow looks pretty nice. Alright. As you can see there, Loggerhead Shriek, a special ability, popped. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it gets an extra point. What's unfortunate, though, is that I only have 1 point from it so far. So thankfully I put it down as early as possible. But normally you could get more on the Loggerhead Shriek, but the AI just plays a certain way that where I guess they don't need to collect as much food. So I am gonna roll this, and hopefully I'll get something that I can use, like a worm. Oof. I think at this point, the Ruddy Duck just doesn't matter as much right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play these two cards right here. Now, because this card allows me to play more than one bird at once, because it says play another bird into the same habitat and pay its normal cost, I'm going to do exactly that. The reason is because I can't possibly lay down the duck and also put an egg on it, so that wouldn't go towards the bonus objective right there. And I'd rather just move forward towards the actual bonus objective for the next round, which is to get as many of these birds from the forest in as much as possible. So, gonna go ahead and crack that egg.
This little woodpecker frequently joins mixed flocks. Blue-gray gnatcatcher.
I have such a terrible feeling about this game, though. I feel like I'm just so far behind. So, as you can see, I still got 2 points just for having one bird with one egg. That makes me feel alright, but I think the total points on my birds are just absolutely pathetic. I mean, we're talking 1s, 2s, 3s. And I believe somebody had like... Yeah, he's got a trumpeter swan, and all of his birds have eggs on them. And the thing about eggs is they count towards 1 point to your final score. And my birds barely have any eggs on them, so that's a little nerve-wracking. They have all the eggs on their birds, basically. So yeah, that's a little disheartening for me. But we're going to play the game regardless, because why not? Why not have some fun? I'm kind of leaning towards both of these right here. Not only are they cheap, they one of them actually has a play another bird into the same habitat. That's always nice because you want to use as few turns as possible to get things done. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the duck. We were planning on using the duck earlier, but... And I also have this ability where you get to roll dice depending on how many dice are outside of the bird feeder. There's normally 5 at the maximum, so because there's... Let's see. Because there's 4 already in the bird feeder, that means I only get to roll 1 from outside of it. And since I only get a point if it lands on a particular food source, which is fish, I didn't get an extra point. I wanted to say first and foremost that this effect, you should never bank on it, ever. It's just there on the off chance that you happen to be lucky. So I'm gonna tuck the duck. And the reason why I want to do that is, well, because just what I was planning on doing with it just didn't work out. So I might as well just get, a point for trying to get something done with it. So. I'll just go ahead and grab the berry because we'll need that for the red-eyed vireo. And unfortunately, we didn't get any rats, so that's a bummer. I am going to go with a worm. And actually, something to keep in mind as well is that if you don't have a specific food source, like say rats, for instance, you can use two other food sources, like I'll just show you right now. Actually, I won't because I need eggs, but I'll just go ahead and lay some eggs right now. Hopefully next round I'll show you what I'm talking about. Or not. I still need 2 more eggs, but okay. By the way, I really don't think I'm going to win this round. Oh, I'm going to win this game, but I'll try my best. Alright, so without further ado, let me show this off. I'm going to use the berry here. And I'm going to use the eggs down here.
Red-eyed vireo. Nearsighted vireos
Then of course I'm going to play the
that make noise if
I'm going to
predators
play the
are
barred
around.
owl because of the special ability. And since I don't have the rodent requirement, I do have 2 worms or 2 insects. I really need to focus on coming up with a specific term for these things. I know there's a proper term, but it's just eh. Sometimes they're worms, sometimes they're insects, you know what I mean? So, okay. Gonna use the 2 eggs from down here.
Barred owl. The barred owl's haunting call sounds like
Who hunts for you? I just love the trivia stuff. It's just so goofy. Oh man, this is looking so bad, but not much I can really do about that. I actually am sort of looking towards maybe using the Inca Dove, but I just don't have the right food source. Alright. I love this special ability, by the way. Look at a card, and depending on the wingspan of a particular bird, which you can see right down there. For instance, the barred owl has 1 of 7. And if it's less than 75 centimeters, tuck it behind the bird. It's just a great way of like adding a sort of hunting mechanic to birds like this. As you can see, that's the hunting mechanic. So let's see if we get lucky. Normally these work out pretty well, particularly if they're bigger birds in general. They have a larger gap, or yeah, a larger hunting range, I guess you could say. Oof. They took the dove, which kind of bites, but we'll make this work. Alright, so I took the lead there, hands down. And I'm still in the lead in terms of bird total, which is the next round, but the sad, unfortunate truth is they have a lot more points, I think, in terms of eggs and things like that, so I do have to keep that in mind as well. And if I try to go for eggs now, the sad truth is that I just really don't have the egg production to catch up in terms of
Northern harriers fly low over marshes and
in terms of trying to
grasslands
catch up to
seeking
them.
prey.
At most, I could probably get like 12 eggs on the field, and that kind of bites. I don't think I want to risk drawing more cards, so what I'm probably just going to do is just lay as many eggs as possible. Or, you know what, actually, I'm just going to do this out on a whim. This could totally cost me the game, which I've pretty much already forfeited. But I have the potential of getting 2 points here. 1 from this ability and 1 from that ability, so know that. And I am going to just tuck this bird right here for the time being. I'm not going to be able to get that on the field, so. Ooh. Well, I mean, I could, but I think I have an idea. No, I don't have an idea. I don't think that would work out too well. Oof, I don't have enough eggs. I I I don't know. Is that would it work out? Who I'm going to do this simply because I have the food to do so. Cost me the game, but
Swainson's hawk. These hawks feed
I
chicks,
think that
small
there's
mammals and birds, but adults eat mostly
a
insects.
better chance of me getting more points through this than any other way. And as you can see, this loggerhead shriek didn't really end up working out too well for me. Again, I didn't have enough eggs in general this game, so that kind of bites. We get to do the hunting mechanic twice because there's 2 birds with it. Okay, that's pretty awesome. I definitely have more birds on the field, but I think when it comes down to eggs and bird quality, I'm a little nervous on that, so. Again, I feel like this was such a bad game for me. Okay, I got 30. That's pretty good. I didn't get any bonuses, though. Okay. This is where I'm probably going to fall flat on my face. Ooh, it was actually a close game. I got 62. The toucan got 60. Wait, I think that's more of a pigeon than toucan. And then the bird down there got 67. So I'm actually surprised that it was this close. I didn't think it would be this close. So let me know if you'd like to see more of this game. I have a blast playing it. And I've played online. I like playing online as well. But those games tend to last a little bit longer. Simply because other people tend to think. And I don't tend to think. So, yeah, that's my playthrough. I'll see you guys next time.